Hi friends, I am Srini Eroli and you are watching Srini Unplugged. Please do like this video, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, continuing our Wokeism series, in today's video we are going to discuss about communism. Okay, the topic is interesting because of one of our eastern neighbors. Okay, so let's try to understand what communism is all about, what does it bring to the table, and what are its core tenets, right? So friends, basically communism is defined as a socio-economic and political ideology that advocates for the establishment of a classless society, okay, in which the means of production and distribution are commonly owned and controlled by the community as a whole, okay. Instead of a private or individual ownership or a business ownership, the entire ownership is owned by a community, okay. That's what communism core idea and philosophy is all about. Now, it is often seen as a response to the inequalities and perceived injustice of a capitalist system. They are always at loggerheads, all right? Because what capitalism says is exactly opposite to communism. Okay, capitalism says that you should have a private ownership of means of production and distribution. So that will get into the details when we discuss capitalism. All right. So right for now, let's try to understand what communism is all about. So in essence, communism is talking about ownership, common ownership. All right, so that's what the core philosophy is all about. So what are the constituents or elements that make up a communism ideology? Okay, so first and foremost is basically common ownership, as we discussed. So what does it mean to have a common ownership? Okay, let's understand that. Communism envisions a society in which the means of production, including factories, land and resources, are collectively owned rather than privately owned by individuals or corporations. So we discussed that. Okay, and this common ownership is meant to eliminate class distinctions and promote economic equality. Okay, so that's what is the belief of communism. What are the examples of common ownership? So it is there. Okay, that's the reason why we have to give some examples as well. In the early days of the Soviet Union, after the Bolshevik Revolution 1917, factories, land and resources were nationalized and collectively owned by the state. Okay, collectively owned by the state on behalf of the working class. So this is common ownership perspective. Number two is basically classless society. Okay, communism seeks to abolish social classes altogether, aiming to create a society where everyone has equal access to resources and opportunities. Good thought process, right? We should look everybody at from an equal lens. Okay, why should we be looking at somebody at a bigger, smaller, or other areas? So look everybody at equal lens. So that's what it is talking about. Okay, this contrasts with capitalist society where wealth and power often leads to social stratifications. Okay, so what are the examples? Okay, in the communist society, in theory, communist societies try to eliminate social classes. Okay, that's in theory. However, achieving a fully classless society has been challenging in practice. Okay, and for example, the Communist Party in the Soviet Union often held significant power and privileges, creating a new class altogether. Okay, so they wanted to create a classless society, and because of this power hungerness, they actually created a new ruling class altogether. Okay, this Soviet Union actually. Okay, so what is the third tenet? The third is basically central planning. Many communist systems advocate for centralized economic planning, where the state or governing body decides what goods and services should be produced in what quantities and what price. Okay, central planning. Okay, I'll plan for everybody. Okay, like a mother does for the entire family, right? What should be cooked today, tomorrow, day after, for the entire week. Same philosophy, central planning. Okay, and what price? The goal is to eliminate the inefficiencies and inequalities associated with the market capitalism. Okay, example: the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin implemented a centralized economic planning through a series of 5-year plans. I think this is something that we have also seen in Planning Commission in India. So the state determined production targets for various industries, and prices were often set by the government. That's what happened, in India as well for quite long time. Okay, through Planning Commission. So abolition of private property. Obviously, okay, the communism calls for the abolition of private property in the means of production. Okay, this means that individuals do not have the right to own land, factories or businesses for personal profit. Okay, now personal possessions such as homes and personal items are typically allowed. You can have a home on your name, but you cannot have a business or a property in your name. So that is what is abolition of private property. Examples: In Cuba, after Fidel Castro's revolution in 1959, private ownership of most businesses and land was abolished. Okay, and which means, and the means of production were controlled by the state. Although some limited private ownership has been allowed in recent years. Okay, a little bit of let off is done in the recent past, but more or less, it is covered. It is controlled by the state. Number 5, distribution according to the need. Okay, so what does this mean? The communism aims to distribute resources and goods based on the people's needs, okay, rather than their ability to pay or their market demand. Okay, now the principle is often summarized as from each according to his ability to each according to his needs. What are the examples? In the early years of the Soviet Union, there was an attempt to distribute goods and services based on need. Okay, citizens received food, ration, housing and other necessities regardless of their income or work status. Okay, now the next point is elimination of money. Very important and interesting concept, right? So some communist theories envision a society where money becomes obsolete because there is no need for it in a system where resources are distributed based on need. Instead, people would receive goods and services directly from the society without the use of currency. What are the examples? The Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia, led by Pol Pot in the 1970s, attempted to eliminate money and create a completely agrarian society. Okay, money was abolished and the urban populations were forcibly relocated to rural areas to engage in communal farming. Okay, where they basically went in a barter system. So what if I have something to give you, you give me that, and what are you have to give me, I'll take from you, but without the involvement of money. So that's what has happened. Then we have the last proponent of communism is statelessness. Okay, in the purest form, communism seeks to create a stateless society where there is no need for a central government at all. Okay, this contrasts with transnational phase often described in Marxist theory, where a dictatorship of the proletariat is seen as a temporary stage to transition from capitalism to communism. So what basically this is talking about is, in Marxism, Marxist theory basically propagated a dictatorship of the proletariat. Dictatorship of proletariat basically means working class, people who are basically working for a livelihood. Okay, for them you need to have a dictator to guide them, handhold them and take them in the direction of prosperity, but that is only to a limited period of time. That's what was Marxist theory and philosophy was all about, and is seen as a temporary state. All right, and to transition from capitalism to communism. Okay, so what are the examples? The idea of achieving a stateless society is a challenging one, and it has rarely been realized. In the early stages of communist revolutions, there is often a transitional phase where the centralized government is established. For example, Russia Revolution of 1970 led to establishment of Soviet state, which was intended to be a temporary dictatorship of the proletariat, but persisted for decades. So it started. So this revolution started as a temporary dictatorship of the proletariat, as we just discussed, but that continued because once you taste the blood of power, right, it's very difficult to let go of it. So that's a problem. Friends, so this is what this communism is all about, and towards the end, so I'll just tell you who are some of the communist countries. Okay, list of some of the communist countries that we can see in the current age and time. Obviously, first and foremost, China Communist Party, Cuba, the Communist Party of Cuba, Vietnam has Communist Party, it seems. Okay, the Communist Party of Vietnam has been in power since the reunification of North and South Vietnam in 1976. So since till from that point of time, even till today, Vietnam happens to be a Communist Party. Okay, is ruled by communism. Nepal, I think with significant communist presence is there in Nepal's government as well. India, okay, and India, not entire India is communist. States like Kerala and West Bengal with the communist-led governments at various times follow communism. So friends, so that's what communism is all about. So in a nutshell, what communism is talking about is, we'll work as a community. Okay, there will be no state, there will be no classes. Okay, working class, middle class, labor class, this class, that class. All these classes should be eliminated. There should be no state, like central government or a dictatorship like we just discussed, because dictatorship was basically propounded just for a limited period of time. Okay, and then after that, it was said that, as per the communist theory, after that it was said that, that people should, self-govern and self-rule based on a community ideology. Friends, so this is what communism is all about. With that, I come to the end of this video, friends. Kindly let me know if you enjoyed this video or not. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, as I always keep saying, please do let me know your views and opinions on these videos, because it helps me a lot in terms of bringing you curated and quality content to all of you. Friends, last but not the least, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, Jai Hind, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.